G'day, back again. Thought I might do a video. I think I've done one of this a long time ago, about the 225. This is for more so Australian conditions or applications, hence this being at 225. That's the keys for it. So, there we go. Lockwood industry, so we know it's preceding the late 80s, 90s, sorry. So, it would be later than 98. And previous, probably maybe between the late 80s to late-ish 90s period, I would think. It's brand new, old stock, but starting to sort of deteriorate. Not so much the body, it's in pretty good nick. Just the zinc body starting to sort of blister, the zinc, and the old shackle's starting to sort of flake away. So that's the reason. The body's in good nick. Yeah, just going to show you how to read them and cut a key. You don't need to. They're pretty simple. And on the face of the plug, there's like a concave section or a dimple section. That's there to aid in the ease of entry for the key into the keyway. So when you push the key, it'll, in that area, it will slide into the center, and so you can find the center of the core plug. That's the reason for that. But without a concave area, if that was just flat, you'd be doing doing this until you find the center of the core plug. But it wasn't intentional from their point of view. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But if you take the outer circle, well, the section to the circle part where it's flat, where it's just starting to come into the concave section, if you follow that imaginary line around in the circle, so in sort of that position, you can read the depth of your first wafer from that point. I call it my datum point, first cut, first read datum point, if you will. This applies to, pretty confident, this will apply to the Ilko or the Yow zinc body wafer, 5-cut wafer padlocks. They're pretty, I think the reading would be pretty much the same, because wafers are very, very forgiving. You can have a between depth on a cut and still operate the lock, because they're only wafers at the end of the day. So, and the tolerances are pretty bad actually. But yeah, if you make that original imaginary line circle, that'll be your reading point. So obviously, imagine that imaginary line there. If your wafer from your first wafer was in, say, that position where it lines up with the imaginary line on the 225, that's a 0 cut. Don't make any cuts on the key blank. It's actually it's a one cut, but it's a 0 cut. So there's no cut. So it's actually a 1, but you don't cut the key at all. Leave the key alone. Don't cut any depths into the blank. Yeah, and so from that imaginary point, a line, anything that comes, any wafer that lines up at the bottom of the wafer with that imaginary line is a 1, and the deepest on these is a 4, and the number 4, which is probably the first wafer actually, there's a little ledge here. If that wafer is more towards the top of that little ledge, but not fully, but there's still a gap there, that's the number 4. Some padlocks and some applications, the wafer goes deeper, goes level with the notch, which is the number 4 cut, number 5 cut, but they're pretty rare. You don't see them often. They're out there, but yeah, not very often you see them. So that's a 4. If it's above that little notch on the left hand side with the gap, that's a 4. And anything in between is obviously number 2 and a 3. So if you're probably there, you're probably number 3, and if you're there, you're probably number 2. So it's 1, 2, say 3 and 4. So number 4 is the first cut. And actually I might put that in the vise, because actually I've looked before, the two of these wafers are actually been stamped with their cut number, which is a good thing, because it saves you having to read it. Try to line this up best we can with the camera. So yeah, like I said, that's the number 4 cut. Alright, so what we do now is get to the next one, look behind the first one, and as we can see, it's obviously, well, you don't need to know, it's number 2. It's been stamped on there, so we know that's number 2, and it's in that position where I said that, you know, like it's just below the imaginary line, so that's number 2. Third wafer, again, I'm trying to line this up perfectly with the camera lens, but that's the number 4 as well. So we've got 4, 2, 4, and the 4th wafer, we don't need to even worry about that because it's been stamped. If I get the focus, you'll see a number 4 stamped on there, so that's a 4, so it's 4, 2, 4, 4, and there's only one more now, so we've got to find that one. And yeah, come on, focus. I can drop it, the 5th one down. Yeah, it's pretty awkward. Yeah, it's the fourth wafer, by the way. Yeah, the last one. Yeah, this camera's not lined up. The camera lens is not lined up straight with this core, so you're getting a false reading. Should be. Move that down a bit. Yeah, that is number 1 actually. It looks like a number 2, but it's not. It's just that the camera, it should be down here, but I can't. Trying to. You see that? It is. That's number 1. That's lined up with the imaginary line. So the last one's a 1. So it's 4, 4. We know that's a 2 because it's stamped, and that's a 4. So 4, 2, 4, 4, 1. And what I'll do, I'll get a blank. Let's take you out. So that's the blank you need for the WW3, the Silker. I'll give you that's the number 1. Okay, so that's number 1 cut is a no cut at all. Number 2 is probably a couple of hard files with a Swiss to get number 2 cut, and again number 3's a bit deeper, so a bit harder with the file, and number 4 is the deepest cut. So it's number 4, so that's it, that's number 4 cut. But what I'll do is very easy actually. I'll just do a quick one by hand. I know what the cuts are anyway, so but it wouldn't matter. I was that's good. The old one. Yeah, blank. There we go. Oh yeah, the 5th cut on the. Gee, that'd be clever. The fifth cut on the LW3 blade for the 225, the last cut is always just precedes the downward slope of the end of the blank. So what you want to do is make your first cut or marking right there. I'm not going to go any deeper because it's number 1, and I didn't need to do that, but I'll just do that for purposes to show you where the spacing is. It's not going to make any difference to that lock at all. Like I said, they're really forgiving. So, and number 1 from the shoulders is probably about 3/16 of an inch. So make that cut there, and go between those 2 cuts, obviously, and that'll give you number 3 spacing, and go between 3 and 5 will give you the 4, obviously, and between 2 and 3 and that'll give you the number 2 spacing. So there we go. Okay, we know the cuts. Number 5 we're not going to touch because that's the number 1 cut, 0 on the blank. We go to number 1. So the 4 cut. So I'm doing this by eye. I've done it hundreds of times, so I know. But anyway, so that's. I'm not going to go down too deep with the first cut, otherwise I start to lose my second the spacing. I lose the platform for the second cut. So we know number 2 is the second spacing is a number 2. So we'll leave that as a number 2. Number 3 is a 4, so we can I was just going to alternate between 1, 3 and 5 with the Swiss till I get the number 4 cut. Like I said, I've done this so many times, I know. It's not a problem, but it just takes, if you do it enough, you know, it's like anything, you get the hang of it. So, hopefully that's pretty much, you see that, you've got to get rid of that too. It's called a bloody wave, you know, a cut wave, which you don't want. You want that nice and sort of, yeah, nice and angular. So I'm going to go with that as a 42441. Okay, and take that out of the touch wood. Okay, it just needs a bit of a deeper filing, because obviously, okay, here we go, that's fine. Yeah, so that's basically it. Just use a file, and yeah, as long as you get the spacings sort of reasonably correct, you'll get a working key. So it's 42441. If you put the key in there and it's you get it tight, really tight, then that obviously one of the wafers is binding. So just go over them, give them a quick stroke each, except the number 1 at the end, and until you get a operational key. Okay. Anyway, that's the little. I've done this little thing on the 225s before, but yeah, so that's the story. If you have one, you want to make a key, obviously get the right blank for the 225 anyway, it's LW3, and yeah, just read off the first cut off that imaginary line, this continuation of the circle, and read accordingly. So anyway, you'll get the hang of it anyway. Like I said, they're pretty forgiving, so it's all good. Anyway, only 15 minutes, so till next time. Before I go, with this, I'm over the picking thing. Actually, I'm pretty much done and dusted. I don't enjoy it anymore. It's getting to the point where I'm happy doing it. I don't need to do it. I'm not a lock sporter, so to speak. So I only do it out in the wild when I need to. But yeah, it's just I want to concentrate on if I do come across a lock that I want to maybe carver. I've got some carvers, new format quad cores there. I want to get stuck into them. I haven't tried them yet. Let's see if I get them open. That type of lock, you know. And yeah, picking in general, I don't want to do it anymore. I knew it's time to give it up when I did one of the challenge, the last of the challenge locks that Funky sent me. I just wasn't happy doing it, and I was getting angry. And yeah, if you get to that point, I think it's time to not do it. You only do if you're happy doing it. I mean, if anyone out there is doing it for a hobby, that's great. You know, if you're happy doing it and you enjoy it, go for it. I support you 100%, but it's not for me. 29 years in this game, I'm struggling to. It's just I've got nothing to prove anyway. I don't know. I'm just not happy doing it. So why am I doing any more picking? I'm just done and dusted. Sort of mentally wiped out about it doing it actually. Yeah, but that's me. Anyway, until next time. Take care, and 225. If that can help out someone, job done. And again, like I said, this would pretty much apply to the Ilco zinc cast bodies and the Yale cast bodies. Pretty much have the same sort of configuration inside. Like I said, they're very forgiving, so you could probably read the same on those locks as you do with the 225. Actually, you get a better look when it's so that's the number 4 position. If it's in that position relative to that ledge on the left hand side, that's number 4 cut. And work your way up. 4, 3, 2 and 1 is on the outer imaginary circle. Okay, anyway, okay, until next time, take care, and goodbye.